that's the nature of those plays. So you can never convert them, obviously, if you don't call them and if you don't believe in them. So I clearly understood the situation when it was called.
So, Mike, I got to ask you, look, he makes a good point. Did Mike McCarthy's play calling, Mike, cost the Cowboys the game?
I mean, you know, Mike McCarthy made some solid points, but at the end of the day, man, it's a time and a place for that, and I think he just chose the wrong time to make these calls and these decisions. He put the team in a bad spot. I thought they was playing well, and I thought they was playing with confidence, which is what you have to do in their state. They showed a little desperation, and I know sometimes that shows up in the NFL. But you got to pick and choose your spots, and this certainly wasn't the time for it.
And yeah, you're only down 4. Washington's offense had only had 1 sustained touchdown drive. And I get it, 28's wide open. But you're asking Cedric Wilson to make a great long pass on the run in order for this play to work. But Wilds, I'm going to take a page out of your book and try to do an on-the-fly analogy. Okay. Because Mike McCarthy said something really interesting. He's like, you don't get anywhere in life thinking about the negatives. Sometimes life is all about thinking about the negatives. You ever been on a long drive on a long country road and there's a car in front of you, like 2-lane road going each way, car in front of you that is just so slow. And you're like, finally, it's my time to pass it. And you go out and you look, and you're like, oh, there's a semi coming the other way. Now it's pretty far out, and I'm 95% certain I can get past this car. You got to think about the 5% negative, because the 5% negative, if you're wrong, is you die. It's like, well, I probably will get past it. But if I don't, I die. And if you're the Cowboys, we probably convert this. But if we don't, our season's over. If we don't, our team is dead. We're going to lose this game. We're going to fall to 3-8. We're going to get swept by Washington, and it's over. So you have to contemplate, Wilds, the negative to go along with the upside. The risk did not merit the reward here in order for this to be the right call.
I buy that.
Yeah, I buy that. I don't want to die, sure. So if that's the options, I die. You're not moving me off my point that I still love it. Because look, we banged on Mike McCarthy. It's like, what were you doing in that barn? Did you actually watch the games? Because this is the same old boring offense. He's like, okay, then he overcompensated, started praying up all these trick plays.
Went too far.
For me, Brandon, slightly too far. So for me, Brandon, I also like the press conference, Brandon, where the quote is, obviously it's a good play call and it's a good play design. He just kind of like, obviously it's a good play. I was like, oh, okay, I guess it is. I guess we got to take your word for it. Brandon, I love it just because, but I'm not a head football coach. Would you ever run this play, or do you think it's just too dangerous?
Well, let me say this. I don't love it, but I understand it. You got to think about it. There's games within the game. The game should have been won on the field. The players should win the game. But you have a defensive line that's not stopping anyone. You have CeeDee Lamb, who dropped a touchdown that would have put him ahead of the Washington football team. So as a coach, you're standing on the sideline. You're like, well, my guys aren't going to go win the game, so let me insert myself and try to do it. Now, I get all the points. I hear it. They're valid. But at the end of the day, he's right. It was a great design. Now, what I would have called it, I don't know. But I understand it, Jenna. The players didn't want to take the game into their hands and win it. So I can understand the coach stepping in and saying, you know, this could be that moment. This could be that Philly special. This could be, Wiles, what you talked about earlier, that onside kick in the Saints and Colts game in the Super Bowl.
But Brandon, we love it. We just don't understand it.
Vic, I want to ask you something. Because I thought Troy said something really interesting during the game. And Wilds has been off the air harping on this point, so I'm going to bring it to the air, which is Zeke, his usage, and his effectiveness. Zeke yesterday had 32 yards. He has 100-yard game all season. And in an earlier fourth down situation, they didn't run a fake punt. They went for it in their own territory. And instead of handing the ball to the highest paid running back in football, they threw it, and it was a disaster for him, right? Like, what are you seeing from Zeke's, like yesterday and this year, when he has, he's known as one of the very best backs in football. Troy seemed to question that, and the Cowboys' own play calling, particularly on that 4th and short, seemed to question that.
Yeah. First off, Nick, it was another call where I love it, but I don't understand it. It was super backed up. I love that quote by Brandon right there. I love it, but I just don't understand it, man. But Zeke's one of the best backs in the game, and of course you have that confidence in him, and you want to give him an opportunity to prove that in that moment, because Zeke is the type of back he's going to convert that 4th down. He's going to convert that play. But at the same time, you got to know where you at in the field. You got to understand that on the other side, it's one of the well-coached teams, or probably one of the best coached teams in the National Football League under Ron Rivera. He's not going to leave any stones unturned. He's going to be ready for every piece of situational football that can come about in the game. And then you do have Zeke and an offensive line that's banged up, so that has to be taken into consideration, and I don't know if it was. So that's more the reason why, they could have could have just took a step back, looked at the situation, punted it off, and lived for a better day, for a better time. But it just didn't happen in that moment. I didn't understand the call. I love the wishful thinking, but I didn't understand it.
Yeah, but Mike, if they convert that, guess what we're saying? Oh my goodness, Coach McCarthy, he saved the Dallas Cowboys season. He went out on a limb and he did the unthinkable. The same thing that we said with the Philly special. And we can go back to times where Bill Belichick went for it on 4th down, or did something that, the number said don't do.
Unconventional.
So I love Coach trying to take the game in his hands, because his team wasn't going to win it for them. I absolutely love him.